All right. Good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. Welcome to This Week in Pop Culture, the show in which we give you the goings on in the past said week in the world of pop culture, whether we're talking about local news, film and TV news, sports news and the like. We try to bring you up to speed so that way you are not left in the wind. I'm your host, Brandon Troy, co-host and co-creator of Moves and Shakers Unlimited, and I'm not alone today.
We're
Mr. Spillman
actually
Trueheart.
in person today,
Right,
ladies and
right. How
gentlemen.
about that? And as you saw in the title, we are here live at BlerDCon. We're going to, get through, our normal, spill, if you will, of what's been going on this past week in the world of pop culture. But with that, we will be, talking about some of the other goings on spills that happened this past
Oh, yeah,
week.
for sure.
So, without further ado, shall we dive in?
We're diving right in, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's dive right into it. So, we're going to start first with some trailer news. So, let me bring that up for you guys now. So, we did have some news in regards to sneak peeks that we had this past week. So starting first on, let's see, what day was that? Monday. We had the return of a well-known horror spoof franchise, none other than Scary Movie. Seeing the return of much of the OG ensemble as well as the Waynes helping to supply the jokes in the writer's chair. The comedy drops this summer on June 5th. So Spills, talk to me, man. It's been a minute. It's been what, 13 years since the last film.
Oh, yes.
So your thoughts on this new installment.
Oh, yeah. So, obviously we all love Scary Movie. I think outside of Mel Brooks was one of the greatest Hollywood parody movies that's ever come out. The franchise makes billions of dollars. They kicked the Wayans off. We got upset when they kicked the Wayans off and they started making weird ones that weren't as good. They weren't as poignant in their topics or anything. So to me, I think it's great that they finally got it back. Seeing the Wayans and what they could do with parody and their own kind of movies, I think it's great. It's also ironically coincides with the return of Scream, which is interesting, That's how it's supposed to happen. I think that's very interesting. But I'd like to see what they've done. I remember many years ago, my father took us to see Scary Movie 2, and my brother was maybe 14, and he made us leave that movie because it was too raunchy.
Funny story. I have a funny similar story to that because I'm gonna age myself. Well, I guess both we're aging ourselves now. I was still in 8th grade, I guess. No, I had graduated. It was the summer before my freshman year in high school. So still, 14. And I remember that my mom took myself and a few of my friends to go see it, and she didn't realize that it was an R-rated film. And I mean, it would have been fine, but if y'all know the first Scary Movie, they pushed the envelope on some of the stuff. And when she left, she's like, I never should have took y'all to go see that movie. So similar deal. We survived it.
Yeah.
We sat through it.
Yeah.
But she was giving us all disapproving looks throughout the whole movie. It was it was hilarious. So it's great to, just as you were saying, Spills, to have the Waynes back working on this film. And so much has happened since we've had the prior installment, in terms of where this world stands now. And it'll be great to look back for them to be able to reference a lot of this stuff, because I feel like they have the Waynes, that is, have their finger on the pulse when it comes to things that are relevant to be able to comment on and talk about. So what about you guys out there? Are you guys interested in us getting a new installment of Scary Movie? You can let us know down below in the comments. But we're going to switch gears to sports, because we had quite a bit that happened in the world of sports, particularly on the hardwood. So we're going to talk about that now. But as I said, let us know your thoughts on Scary Movie 6, of us getting this new installment. But switching gears, as I said, to sports, quite a bit that happened Let me put it up now. But and speaking of sports, and starting first on Monday, the Greek freak Giannis returned to play after being out since January 23rd, scoring a double-double with 19 points and 11 rebounds in a blowout loss to the Celtics, 108-81. A few days later, uh, on Thursday, former Splash brother Klay Thompson moved to third on the all-time three-pointer list. Though the Mavericks would lose the game in a nail-biter against the Magic, Thomas achieved the milestone, which now only places him behind James Harden and Steph Curry. Elsewhere on Thursday, LeBron, and I'm sure Spills would like to comment on this, but
yes, ladies and
LeBron
gentlemen.
added another milestone to his legacy. Though the Lakers would lose in a game against the Nuggets, James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to become the all-time leader in field goals made. And then finally on Friday, Jason Tatum would make his return with the Celtics, also scoring a double-double, tallying 15 points and 12 rebounds in a blowout win against the Mavericks. So Spills, where would you like to start? I think I have a sneaking suspicion of which one you want to start at, but go ahead. I'll give you the floor.
Oh, I think we should save the GOAT for last. I think that's the most important person. I think, obviously,
Here we
ladies
go.
and gentlemen,
It's already started.
when you have a guy who goes to the top of all the great lists, field goals made, that's in the words of Bill Russell, this game has always been and always will be about buckets. So, to me, I think that's a wonderful thing. Moving on to Jason Tatum, I think that Jason Tatum coming back is good. We're all antsy to see if he can come back and not be re-injured. We knock on wood for the injury bug and hope that he can continue his career. But he's the Celtics, so if he gets hurt,
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Giannis coming back too. That's interesting. He's coming back and doing his thing, but he's playing on a team that is not built the right way for him to win. He might have to leave. That'll make me sad to see him go. But Milwaukee's obviously a smaller market.
Yeah. And I mean, so far as we know right now, the talk is that he's going to stay with that franchise. But again, to your point, like I can't see a scenario in which he's going to be able to get the outcome that he wants with that franchise. I mean, obviously they're going to throw, they're going to, throw the world at him in terms of being able to keep him there, which, is always a nice feeling to have when, your franchise is that, that driven and that deeply entrenched with you, as their franchise go-to guy. But still, like, I also understand his perspective of, with all these players, it's really, which we'll comment on with one of the other stories, is about legacy. And there are tons of great players that come and go, but can you be able to say, I had this many titles,
I'm the leader of the field
Right.
goals made all time. I'm the all-time leading scorer in the league history. Those are things that make a legacy, ladies and gentlemen. And I think it's very important that, we pay attention to these legacies.
As we segue.
We
segue. But I mean, just to comment on those pieces, already commented on Giannis in terms of the Jason Tatum of it all. Honestly, they're playing with house money, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I don't think anyone anticipated, myself included, that the Celtics would be where they are without Jason Tatum, and obviously. Brown is a terrific player, but I mean, so many of their other players have really like played out of their mind. Like White has played out of his mind. Pritchard has been frying people. So they're honestly playing with house money. I guess my only concern is that even though he has the ability to be on the floor right now, do they really want to push the envelope and really push him too fast to play at the level that he's accustomed at playing? Because sometimes we both know this.
Yeah.
Being athletes is when you're coming off an injury like that, it is a lot of it is up here mental of, am I able to, is my body able to still do that? And sometimes you're so anxious to be able to play that you don't give yourself enough time to actually recover. Like, yes, maybe you're at a point where you're able to get on the floor, but are you able to put that much strain at the level that you're accustomed to putting, on your body? So that would be my only concern is he coming out too early? Because with other players that have had that same injury, they have, really taken their time in terms of that. Now, in commenting on James, I joke about James all the time here on the show, but I give props where props are due of the consistency, the continued consistency that he has had, throughout his entire career. There have been players, and they make a joke about it a lot of times. Like when he's on the floor, there have been so many occasions where he has played two generations
Yeah,
of
father and son.
father and son
Yeah,
combinations
and better
on the
than
floor.
both father and son. That's the thing. Better than daddy and son. Imagine somebody beat up you and your daddy.
So like, kudos to him of continuing that consistent excellence throughout his entire career. I still will continue to say he's my number two and not my number one, but I still can't deny like the fact that he's been consistently great over what 23 years.
Yes.
That's insane. But maybe you guys feel differently. You can let us know down below in the comments whether we're talking about the two returns that we had with Giannis and with Jason Tatum, or even some of the milestones that we had. And I look at that. I dropped Klay Thompson. Didn't even talk about Klay Thompson's
We
kudos.
forgot him. It's because he left the squad. It's understandable.
And
he left
that's
the
my
squad
too. But kudos to Klay Thompson as well. I think this is just kind of a confirmation of people understanding how great the Warriors were in their heyday, when they were at the pinnacle of their powers. To say that you had the top three shooters of all time for 3-pointers made, now I think people are starting to really, it puts it in the context of just how great that team was.
Yes.
You have someone who leads, is neck above like everybody else, because I know what James Harden is number two, but he's nowhere near close to getting where Steph Curry is at right now, and they're both still playing. And that's the crazy thing. That's another thing. Like our top three people are still actively playing. Neither want to retire, so they're probably going to continue to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. But I think that just visually it further confirms what many people already suspected of just how great the Warriors were when they had Thompson and Curry on the same team. To say that you had the top three all-time 3-point shooters ever in NBA history. But be that as it may, let us know down below whether we're talking about, as I said, the two returns that we have with Giannis and Tatum, what your thoughts were, and then even with the milestones with LeBron James and Klay Thompson. Let us know down below in the comments. With that, we are going to move on to film and TV and talking about another franchise that shared some news on Wednesday. I'm going to bring that up for us now. Small little show known as Game of Thrones had an announcement of some new cast members this past week. HBO announced that Lucy Boynton, Babu Cisse, and Peter Mullen had joined or will be a part of season 2 of HBO's A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Boynton will play Lady Rowan. Cisse will play Sir Bennis, and Mullen is Sir Eustace Osgrey in Game of Thrones universe series, which is set 90 years before the original series' timeline begins, for those that are not aware. So it is a prequel to the original run of the show. Spills, we have these 3 additions to the show. Your thoughts on season 2 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? I don't know if we talked about it, if you had caught up on the show or not, but what are your thoughts on these additions?
Interested in these additions. I've seen a few of the episodes of the the new Game of Thrones show.
Yes.
I enjoy it because brother is a tall. I like all things tall. That resonates with me.
Yeah.
He has the same kind of tall-ish problems. Like, come on, man, you kind of big. What's going on? I like how they have that going. That interests me in his knightliness. But I think that these are good castings. Game of Thrones prints money. I feel like they can make anything that they want with this. With this show. I think that this will go better a little bit than the House of Dragons because House of Dragons is set. I've been told, no, sir, it's not better than House of Dragons. But hey, that's my opinion. I can, I think that the House of Dragons, too much incest in that show. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to talk about it.
Craziness, yeah.
That's it's like an episode of Jerry Springer sometimes to me, but that's okay. Yeah, I think
and Murray actually.
Yeah, it's Jerry and Murray.
Yeah.
And sister uncles and baby cousins. The baby, like you're a baby, but you're also your cousin. That's weird. So, I'm very interested in this. They obviously have a real banger with the show. How do you like the show? Do you watch it often?
So I'm caught up on all the series thus far, and I'll say this: I understand why there is, and I wasn't anticipating that I would like A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, but I do understand the love behind it, and that it's a palate cleanse, if you will, because a lot of times when we're talking about Game of Thrones, as good as Game of Thrones is, don't get me wrong, a lot of times because of how dark it can get, sometimes it can be exhausting watching that show, and when you stop watching it, it's like like it's a lot. While it's still good, it can still kind of be a lot. And so when you have a show where your character is intrinsically good, there's not a lot of gray where, okay, is he an anti-hero because he's kind of evil but he's not really evil. Like, we have a lot of characters like that in the Game of Thrones universe, and I feel like it's a nice change of pace to have someone who has honor. And it's not to say that you don't have characters who have honor, but they're very few and far in between. And those that do normally don't make it on Game of Thrones. Like, you have to have some cutthroat element to you to be able to survive. And to actually see a character who is intrinsically good, but despite being intrinsically good, unlike many other characters in the Game of Thrones universe, actually makes it through the whole thing. Spoiler alert, sorry, but it is a nice change of pace. And then obviously the dynamic that you have between him and Egg is pretty cool. Also, those two actors have great chemistry together, so that's it adds a nice element there. And then the thing that I feel like that a lot of people don't talk about is that they are able to carry the show, because the show is not like this huge sprawling epic like many of the other shows. You're just talking about House of the Dragon and then also the original run. They're these huge sprawling epics. We have dragons. We're going across different realms and stuff. And like, this is a very self-contained story. So it's another change of pace that I didn't anticipate would work. But because of the characters, because of the story, it worked for me. So I'm looking forward to the new show. But I did comment on this when we first got the announcement of these new characters. Is for those who don't watch like some of these other shows, I was like, is this the fact that we are talking about these said actors joining, the second season of Game of Thrones, particularly Cersei? I'm like, okay, are you guys spoiling another series? Because for those of you that don't know, Cersei is a major character on Alien Earth.
Oh, there you go.
And his character survives. Sorry, spoiler alert also, but I mean, the season's over, y'all. But he survives it, and I'm like, okay, are you guys spoiling season 2? Does it mean he's not going to make it through season 2? Because they're doing season 2 right now as we speak. So are you guys saying, because for those of you that don't know, when we're talking about series, it takes a lot of time and effort to be able to do that. So to be able to be a main character on 2 popular running series, like, that's not going to be an easy thing to accomplish. So something has to give. Are you telling me that maybe he has a reduced role in season 2, or are you saying that he ain't gonna make it through season 2. Like maybe they'll have a shocking death. Like I don't know. Did you watch Alien Earth?
I checked
Did
some
you
of it
finish
out,
the season?
but we're going to put on our foil hats because Brandon's got the conspiracy theories, ladies and gentlemen. He knows
So
the
just
inside
remember right
talk.
here.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, I mean, I don't
We're
know
going
the
to clip
inside.
this, and then
Just saying.
you know, Brandon predicts. That's going to be our newest segment. We're going to have
There
a
you
segment
go.
where Brandon predicts the future.
There you go. But let us know down below. Are you excited about these 3 editions that we have on the upcoming season of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms? You can let us know down below. And with that, we are going to get into our main topic, which I don't know if you can hear in the background, but we're at a con, y'all, which is why you have me and Spills here live, which is a rarity.
Yes.
But yes, we are at BlerDCon 2026. And if you're not familiar with the show, convention here in the DC metro area, specifically over here in Virginia, where just as you can, glean from the name, is a show that focuses in on, really exemplifying and throwing a light on people of color and, artists within the industry when we're talking about pop culture. Spills, I know I've been here a couple of times, but Spills, I know I think you were telling me this is your first time.
I believe so. I believe this is my first time at BlerDCon, ladies and gentlemen. The vibes are great. We walked in, everybody is so welcoming. Everybody's, it's good to be in a space where everybody is in love and everybody is in a good energy. Um, you know, this event is a celebration of expression, and people are really expressing themselves. I think that they're enjoying themselves. We are, you hear the DJ. We got live music, nice food here at the BlerDCon. We really have seen some really great things. We heard Redman performed. Zazie Betts was here. So I think that we've just had a really great time just, enjoying some of the events. It seems to get bigger and bigger every year. And I'm really thankful to have this opportunity to attend.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I mentioned, this is, I guess, maybe my fifth, maybe fourth, fifth time, coming. And only reason being why, like, it hasn't been more than that is typically, as you guys know, who go to a lot of cons, it can be tricky to navigate schedules, especially if you have a said show happening the same weekend. And normally, when this show is happening in July, because in prior times it's normally been in July, we have a certain small show that maybe you guys are familiar with that happens in San Diego, where I'm not physically here to actually go to both shows. So with San Diego Comic Con, a lot of times being around that time, it's hard. In prior attempts, it was hard to actually attend both. So, but in seconding what Spillman said, it's nice to be able to come to the show and to have it local, of course. The enthusiasm is always off the charts. The cosplay is typically spot on and incredible. In terms of the dedication, in terms of creating a lot of the costumes that are seen here at this show, on par with any other con that highlights itself as being one of the premier shows. I know Dragon Con is up there. San Diego obviously is up there. But when we're talking about BlerDCon 2, it's right up there when we're talking about cosplay and the enthusiasm behind it. The only thing that I would normally highlight as something that I feel like can still be can still be improved or can still be highlighted to be tweaked is the signage. For someone who may be coming for the first time, and I mean, I know Spills, this is his first time, but he had the luxury of having someone who's gone before to be able to tell him where to go. But if this is your first time going, it might be a tricky proposition to be able to understand where you need to go for certain things. And don't get me wrong, like, there was notification, across social media for certain things, but I feel like there's an opportunity to place it in other places as well. So like when we're talking about like the putting the address of the venue, putting it on the website, like specifically on the website, and at least as it stands right now, I didn't see it. Of course, it has the date there, but I know a lot of times having the venue directly there on the main page helps also. And then also, I would say having a opportunity just with the signage of where to go itself once you're physically here. In some places, that's visible, but in other places where it would help to be directed and know where to go, I feel like there's still an opportunity there. So those that would be the main thing for me, that I feel like there's still an opportunity to further tweak. But I mean, otherwise, when you're talking about like the enthusiasm behind the show, it's not going to be anything better when you're coming to this said show, and it's always great, in terms of the mission that the show stands for. But Spills, any last thoughts?
Well, I think that we always will say this on air. Brandon didn't wear a costume again. He's been trying to get me to all these Comic Cons. Has not put on any kind of cosplay. He said maybe
he
would do it.
On?
I got on a X-Men shirt. You see that, ladies and gentlemen?
Teapot caught in the kettle.
That's right. I am. But you are my con Sherpa, so I expected my con Sherpa to be ready for this climb to the Mount of Everest. So I just would like one day we will, especially if we're going to do this in person. Okay. We will do this. I say this every time, ladies and gentlemen.
We do. And
he always weasels his way out. I'm still going to hold him to it. But I think that the vibes here are very, very positive. I think that these kind of spaces are necessary. I think everybody's having a good time, and I think that this is the perfect time because it's perfect weather. It's 70 degrees. It's actually possibly a little bit warm in here. It's possibly a little bit warm. So we're just doing well to be here at the BlerDCon and enjoying beautiful downtown Crystal City. If you haven't been, that it's possibly the eighth wonder of the world, Crystal City downtown.
For sure.
It's a beautiful place.
For sure. But with that, we're not going to spend too much time because we want to go get back to the show here. We are live here at BlerDCon, as you can see in the title. But let us know down below. Are you guys here at BlerDCon? Even if you're watching us after the fact, were there some things this weekend because the show started on Friday? Well, yes, it was started on Friday and is wrapping up today as we speak. But are there some things that you enjoyed about the show? Were there some highlights for you? You can let us know down below. But with that, that's going to do it for us here at This Week in Pop Culture. I'm going to punt it over to Spills first. Spills, can you tell folks where they can find you, sir?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as always, you can find me on Truly Spill on Instagram.com. Check me out there. We can shoot and talk about BlerDCon and any other kind of cons. And also, why LeBron is the GOAT. See you there.
Awesome. And I'm your host, Brandon Choi, co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be safe out there. And we'll see y'all soon.
Peace.
Holla.